Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the Give and Go podcast. 1 week into the high school soccer season, and a lot of surprises and some not surprises, things that we expected. But today, I have a special guest, Junior from Middletown North, Jayme Malanda. Jayme, thank you for taking time out this weekend to talk soccer with me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So far, how do you think, Middletown North played two games? I know their opening day ended up getting canceled because of busing, I heard from coach, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be an issue throughout the whole state is having issues with busing. But how do you think your team looks so far? Because you brought back a good portion of the team from last year.
Yeah. I think so far we're doing pretty well. A lot has changed from the season before. I think we're still trying to figure a couple things out, but I think so far we've had a pretty good showing. And as long as we keep playing the way that we know how to play, like playing to our strengths, I think we'll have a really good season.
Do you think it also helps, because your freshman year, you had coach Molly Tague, right? Was your coach,
Yeah.
and then you had Coach Napoli, and a little stability now because this is his second year because that was Molly's first year, so that's three coaches at Middletown North in 3 years. Do you think that kind of helped having him back for another second season, knowing his system too?
Yeah, I definitely think that since he's not like if there's not a new coach coming in again, we have he kind of knows what he wants to do with the program and he knows the players that he has. So he kind of knows where he wants to put people and how he wants us to play.
And the benefit of bringing back so many players and not having a large senior class last year, you're going to see improvements this year. All right, let's start. How old were you when you first started playing soccer?
I was 3 years old.
3 years old. That's the common age for soccer.
Yeah.
When you run around in the little pack following the
Yeah.
ball. What that was in Middletown? Did you grow up in Middletown?
Yeah. I started playing at a youth league called like at St. Mary's when I was little.
Okay.
And then I moved to Middletown once I got older.
Okay. And you're currently with PDA North, right?
Yeah.
And Coach O'Neill.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get into a little of that a little bit. Did you play any other sports?
I played basketball when I was in middle school for a little bit, and then when I was really young, I did gymnastics.
So what was it about soccer that, you went that direction?
Well, my mom played soccer when she was in like her whole life, she played soccer. And then once I started, I feel like that was kind of something that really just I knew I wanted to do that. Like I liked the other two, but I feel like that was the one that I was best at and the thing I understood the most. So I feel like that's kind of what made me want to play.
That's the common answer. I was the one I was the best at. Um, Now your mom having a soccer background, is she tougher on you or somebody you could go to if you think you had a bad game or is she, how is she?
She's definitely tough on me, but she knows what I'm like where I'm coming from when certain things happen. So she's kind of like there to get me through things because she understands like where I'm coming from.
Do you have any siblings?
I have an older sister, she's a senior this year.
Senior this year, soccer player too?
Yeah.
Um, Growing up, were the battles pretty tough in the backyard?
Yeah, they were.
Um, Now you brought up, your mom with the soccer, but how else have your parents, helped you along your way?
So when I was at Middletown, I think I was going into sixth grade. Um, my sister had moved to PDA the year before me. So when I was in sixth grade, I decided to go to like an invitational that they had. Um, so I knew that it was like gonna be a lot for them once I started going there because it's a 45-minute drive up to PDA North. Like it was gonna be a lot of time taken out of it, but they've really kind of done all that they can to get me to practice, extra trainings, all that stuff just to help me get better. So
Yeah, it's definitely different, from when your mom played, where it was basically just practices and some training on the side in your backyard. Now you kids are going all over, for whatever sport it is, to get
Mhm.
additional training besides your team training. Growing up, who was like a role model for you? Could
Well,
be.
definitely my parents. And then I really looked up to Julie Ertz. Um, she was kind of like I always looked at her as like a powerhouse for the US national team. She was always just getting into tackles and getting into the attack, doing all that she could to help them win. So I really looked up to her when I was little.
I'm glad you brought her. Usually you get the Alex Morgan, um, Lindsey Horan now, and Harley, but Julie Ertz, I don't really hear a lot. And she does all the little things out there, like you say, getting to the tackle and all that. That is so vital in soccer. I know the goal scorers get all the glory, but it's
Yeah.
everybody that does the little things that lets the goal scorer score. So sixth grade is when you kind of made the transition to PDA.
Yeah.
Now I know probably Michael Neal wasn't your coach the whole time, right? Because I know they switched, right?
Yeah. So normally at PDA, they switch coaches every 2 years. But when I first went, I started off on our second team at PDA. So I was on PDA Lightning and I started off with a different coach. And then my second year, we got a new coach and I had him and he completely changed like everything for our team.
Who was the second coach?
Joshua Ossett, he's the head coach at Seton Hall now.
How did he, change your game or, make you
So
better?
yeah, when I first went to PDA, I was a forward. And then when he came, he switched me to center back. So I went from playing two completely different positions and I had no idea what I was doing. But he really like brought me through it and taught me the right way how to play that position. And I feel like he made me like more confident in how I played in the back because I didn't know what I was doing before then and I had never thought of me like playing a more defensive role. But now that like he's taught me that and I've been playing now with my new team, it's something I'm more comfortable with and I feel a lot better about it.
And what kind of advantage is it? You said he's at Seton Hall now, and everybody know Coach O'Neill at Rutgers is having, coaches at that level, being able to teach you as a teenager. What kind of advantage does that give you?
I feel like it really helps you because it makes you understand that they know what they're talking about and they know like the best situations to put you into to get you to the level that you want to go to.
Yeah. Let's switch over to high school for a little bit. What goals did you set for, actually, we're talking about positioning. Let me ask you this first. Where do you play in high school? Because, a lot of times your high school coach has you in a different position than what you play. And
Yeah.
usually it's the defensive backs on a club team that are playing midfield and
Yeah.
up front, like, Cassidy Corcione,
Mhm.
Katie Coyle from Middletown South. She played on the back line and played midfield for Middletown South.
Mhm.
So where do you play for Middletown North?
Mostly I'm playing attacking midfield, but sometimes he'll push me up and I'll play center forward, outside forward, and then sometimes more defensive games I'll play maybe an outside back or a defensive mid just to kind of help like control our tempo and everything like that.
Very good. So it's very good that you're well balanced, especially in colleges looking at they you have a little experience everywhere. They can kind of
Mhm.
which is an advantage. So you're going into high school. What goals did you set for yourself that you wanted to achieve throughout your career?
I just wanted to be like a leader for everyone. Doesn't matter if it was for one person or if it was for the whole team. I knew going into it as a freshman, I wasn't really going to be like that big of an impact on certain people because a lot of them, almost all of them were older than me. But going like through my years, I knew that if I kept continuing to grow in my position that I was playing, that I would be able to help the other people that maybe play my position and the people around me by like being a leader to show them like how we play and all that kind of stuff.
Now, your freshman year, it could be nerve-wracking your freshman year. Any upperclassmen that, kind of helped you, like if questions or calm your nerves down? Because I know freshman players get very nervous.
Yeah, so I had one good friend. Her name is Caroline Mascone. I knew her since I was little. So going into it, and my friend Jordan Gavini going into it, I knew them already. So that kind of helped me like not feel as nervous.
And your
And
sister being a year older.
yeah, my sister definitely helped too because she was kind of like I knew what she had gone through her freshman year, so I knew that it was going to help me like go through mine. And then our goalie, Maura Chauner, she was
Mm.
junior, I believe,
Yes.
junior when I was a freshman. She was great. She would always help me calm my nerves down. She was telling me how to play that position because I didn't really know how to play midfield when I first went. She was telling me what to do from the back, and I feel like that kind of helped me like calm down a lot.
I didn't get to see your team during the regular season last year, but I got to see her play in the All-Star game, the senior All-Star game, and she was phenomenal in the
Yeah,
All-Star game. So, and where, where did she go to school? One of the Penn State,
she's
right,
at Penn
satellite
State
school.
Works. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And she had a remarkable game. I'm glad I got to see her at least, playing that game because the last time I saw Middletown North, she wasn't the goalie,
Mm.
if I remember correctly. Um, so all right. Now last year your team kind of, up and down year, you're in A North, which is everybody knows it's, especially this year with the addition of St. John Vianney,
Mm.
how hard A North is. But you got to the finals of the Shore Conference Coaches Tournament.
Yeah.
What did that mean? First of all, are you a fan of that second tournament? Because I mean, I am as a soccer person because I wish basketball had something like that because nobody's going to beat St. John Vianney and RBC in basketball. It
Mm.
gives other schools a chance to get some extra competitive games. And so, were you a fan of that tournament? And what did it mean to actually making it to the finals? Unfortunately, Jackson defeated you, but
Yeah.
just making it, getting some little late season success.
Yeah, I was a fan of it myself. I knew a lot of the girls on the team at the time were as well. I feel like going into it, we knew it kind of gave us like a second burst to kind of go through that and try and win it. I feel like a lot of the girls didn't expect us to get as far as we did, but we did. And Jackson was a really tough game for us. We tied it and then went into overtime and then lost. So it was unfortunate, but we were proud of what we did.
And then, you were able to win the first round, versus Colts Neck, who's a tough team. I went to a shootout, I think, right?
Yeah, we did.
But what did that mean, going into your junior season this year? What did it mean having that like late season success, winning a state game, making it to the finals of the coaches tournament? What did it mean, going into, like the off season before the season started for the team?
I feel like a lot of the returning girls, obviously the freshmen didn't really know that much about it coming into it, but a lot of the returning girls, I feel like that was kind of a motivator to have us keep working throughout the summer practices, the summer workouts, all that kind of stuff to keep us working towards the same goal that we had last year.
I, I like to ask this question to, Tom's River kids. If there was only one Middletown school, how good if the town wasn't divided, how good would the Middletown be this team be in the state of New Jersey?
I think we'd be really good.
Yeah.
All the talent that both teams have, if we were just merged together, I think we'd be really good.
Yeah. Um, I always said that the brick teams, Tom's River teams, Middletown, I've said it for a few years now because a couple of years ago, both Middletown North and South made it really far in states. And I
Mhm.
said, wow, imagine if they were one team, they'd be the number one team in the state. So now going into your senior year next year, what goals do you have set, for, well, actually, even this year, it's so early, what goals, personal goals do you have and, team goals do you have for this season?
So one of my personal goals, I want to try and score one goal every game. Kind of one of myself on last year. And then team goals, I just want to like be a constant leader, kind of like be there for everyone on the team so that they can always have someone to talk to if they need to go to someone for literally anything. Just be there and then bring us to however far we get this year.
Wow, you're already at your halfway mark for goals last year, so only 2 games in. So, now next year, obviously, you're going to be, one of the senior leaders. What is something you hope to pass down to the underclassmen?
Um, Probably like my work rate. I feel like if I show them how, like, if you continue to work and you continue to like put in as much as you can every game, whether it's 5 minutes or the whole game, like it's gonna make an impact on the team.
How has Coach Napoli affected your game? I know, you only played with him for, one full season, but how has he affected your game?
I feel like he's always like on me about the little stuff, which I feel like my freshman year I didn't really have that much. But like even last year and this year, even though it's early in the season this year, I feel like he's gotten on me about little things that normally other coaches wouldn't, and I feel like that kind of helps me like fix those little mistakes so that I can make my game better.
Excellent. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite movie?
10 things I hate about you.
I just watched that on demand last week. That's shocking because that's a movie when I was young.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Favorite TV show?
The Vampire Diaries.
Okay. That might be the first time I got that. It's shocking how many Grey's Anatomy I get because
Mm.
that's another
That's a
show
good
that's
show too, yeah.
favorite food.
Probably sushi.
Okay. Favorite school subject.
English.
Something you enjoy to do in your free time when you're not playing soccer.
Probably hang out with my friends or go to the beach.
The common answer in the Jersey Shore, go to the beach. Um, what is your go-to song when you're trying to get pumped up or motivated before a big game?
Um, I don't think there's one specific song, but I feel like normally I listen to a lot of Drake.
Okay. Last question for this. When your playing career is over, do you still want to be involved with soccer somehow, like coaching or training?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. All right, let's talk future. You're a junior, you're starting the recruitment process because soccer has that odd rule. You can't really talk to coaches before the end of your sophomore year. What are some of the things you're looking at colleges that, you kind of interest you?
I don't want to go to a super huge school with like a really big program. I kind of want to keep it maybe medium size. I want to go to a school where I can go and make an impact, whether it's just as being a bench player or playing in the games itself. Obviously, I want to have time. As a freshman, I know that's not normally what happens. I want to go somewhere where I can make an impact, whether it's on myself or other people.
It's great. Do you know what you want to study?
Yeah, I think I want to do physical therapy.
Physical therapy. Okay, so that answers my next question. That is, it's amazing how many players actually say that after an injury that they have too.
Yeah,
I had like when I started doing this podcast 3 years ago, player, I was like, oh, why that? And they were like, well, I got hurt, and it really fascinated me, and which is good, and get to learn about, especially for athletes, you learn about how certain muscles work and all that stuff, which will be beneficial.
yeah.
All right, this is my last question. What advice would you give your younger self?
Um, Probably just keep working towards your goals. There's going to be setbacks and there's going to be things that are going to get in the way, and some things aren't going to go the way that you want them to. But if you just keep working and doing all that you can, then you'll eventually get to where you want to go.
Actually, I have one more question. It's this World Cup style play. Are you a fan of that? I'm getting mixed reactions.
I don't know. I like certain aspects of it. I like that they're like doing it by group like that. But I feel like our bracket specifically is very difficult this year. We're
Hang
going
on,
pretty good teams.
I'm pulling
But
it up. I'm pulling your bracket up right now. RB, yes,
yeah,
yes. That is probably the toughest bracket
yeah.
because Manchester was just one game away from qualifying for the Shore Conference tournament last year.
Mhm.
Your team, bringing back the majority team, I would figure your team in a normal year would be right there, on the borderline of qualifying, getting in and getting out, but being in the bracket with two top five teams.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for those two teams because you look at some of the other powerhouses, they don't really have that second team in there that, top five ish.
Mhm.
So I could see that is a very tough bracket.
Yeah.
So, and you could just tell by the first game, Rick Memorial and RBC 2-1.
Mhm.
It was a close game. So, I think it's interesting. And what I like about the people who run soccer, they tweak every year, trying to make the divisions a little fairer and stuff, so it's competitive for all teams, which not every sport does. But so, see, the only way you learn, you see how it works out, and then because it was based on your last 3 years PowerPoints, and
Mhm.
really Middletown North didn't have deep runs and stuff like that, so obviously you were on the lower end, and then you got
Yeah.
switched. Then you got switched if you ended up in the same division, like in a division opponent. So,
Mhm.
but it's interesting, and we'll see how it plays out. So,
Yeah.
but just gotta play every game and surprise somebody.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully.
Jayme, thank you for taking time out. Thank you for being patient, wait for me to get home, and good luck the rest of the season. I was going to go to the Manchester game, but obviously that didn't happen. So, do you know when that's rescheduled yet?
I do not know.
Let's see. I'm seeing what the Manchester coach. I want to say maybe the 30th.
Yeah, Nap hasn't said anything to us yet. But hopefully we'll know soon.
Let's see. Hang on, not to get to you. September 30th, 10 a.m.
Okay.
That's what the Manchester coach texted me. So I'll have that because that should be a very good game.
Yeah.
Um, but I give the advantage to always the A North teams because they play such a hard schedule. You come out
Yeah.
very prepared. So, but good luck out there. I'll see you on the field, and thank you for taking time out today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem.